All right, so I have painted my background and am ready for next steps on my painting. So the first day that we started working, I had you guys experimenting with the colors that you needed to make the colors of your animal. Reminding you that brown is always made with complementary colors, and then different combinations of each of these or changes to one or the other of the colors will change the brown. And so hopefully you have your recipes for your animal in your sketchbook. So if I remember back to painting my little bird, I need to mostly have yellow with a little bit of green, and then it does need a little bit of red in it in order for it to look the right color for the bird. And then with a little bit more red, I got this shadowy color. So that is my plan. And so those are the paint colors that I have to work with this on my project. I do have both the black and white and the color version of my photo handy and visible, because I need the black and white one for shadows and I need the color one for a color reference. So I never want to paint like without them here. So they are both right here and ready for me to look at and use on my work. So I'm looking at my painting and I am thinking about still working from the back to the front. And so I will need to maybe think about adding some layers and mixing some colors before I get started. And so I'm going to work with this belly color first and kind of work my way up, because the wing sits over the belly. Then I'm going to kind of keep moving forward. So I also want to think about painting big to small. And when I get to some smaller details, like I'm going to be able to paint like the bulk of like the leg, for instance, with this paintbrush. But I am going to need something smaller when it comes time to do, for instance, all of the layers in the eye. To be able to get that level of detail, I'm going to need to switch to a smaller paintbrush. I do have smaller paintbrushes up here at my desk for you guys to go ahead and use as you need them. So I'm going to first work on sort of this brownish gray color that is here in the bottom of my bird, and I'm going to mix the color that I used in the background with some green to make a gray. And then I'm going to add in some of this lighter color just to kind of see what kind of gray I've made. Add a little bit more green. And I feel like that is a pretty good gray for my bird. So grays and browns, always complementary colors. I'm going to just start with this gray. I also am going to need the gray down the leg, so I might put a little bit there, but I don't want to do too much of that right now. This I also see is going to be a great color for my branch. So I can think about, as I've made the color, what I need it for or what I can use it for, and paint that section, right? So just grabbed a little bit of black too. Which of course, because it's got so much blue in it, just made my gray very blue. So I might skip painting more on that section. So see, sometimes you make a mistake. Keep going. So I'm going to just sort of blend this gray in with some of the white. You can see, and I am also like looking at my bird and seeing what directions the feathers grow and where the color shifts. So it starts to be very yellow with the gray. I'm gonna grab some yellow. And this is how I'm going to continue to paint, working just a little bit at a time to paint my way forward on my bird. I am, you'll notice, making like little marks that go sort of in the direction that the feathers grow, so that I have kind of a feathery effect. As my paint lightens up, as it gets closer to the wing, I'm gonna just grab more white. And because all of this is wet, I am able just to keep blending that color. Like that got too white for the underside of the bird, so I'm just gonna go ahead and paint it with a little bit more of the gray, and I'm much happier with that color. I run into some of this greenish color that is on the head of the bird in here, and so I am going to not paint right there right now, but I am gonna keep moving down with my gray. Gradually adding white as I need it, gradually adding more yellow as I need it. Paying attention to the direction that the feathers grow. And I'm just gonna continue working like this, making sure to watch my photo and add the colors that work. Like I said, I'm working my way towards getting to the face of this little bird, working my way from this bigger space under its belly towards the wing, towards the face, leaving brush marks that go in the direction of the feathers, adding lighter color over darker color, and blending as I paint on my painting rather than in my palette. I can go back and add some of the more little feathery details as I go, but right now this just need a little bit darker. I didn't get it quite dark enough, so I'm like looking at my photo and saying that this whole section here needs to just be a little darker.